I'm Haley Taylor, and you're listening to the Rough Draft Diaries. From last week's episode with Chuck Ely and his undefeated record at the University of Toledo, we're staying at the university, but this time to talk about a different aspect of education.
My name is David Young, and I am the director of Toledo Excel and Special Projects for the University of Toledo. We're in the Division of Student Affairs.
Toledo Excel began in 1989 when Dr. Helen C. Cooks recognized a traditionally unrepresented group of students. She noticed at-risk students were getting attention, and so were gifted students, but this middle group, students with a B average, were forgotten. So in 1989, 50 rising high school freshmen with, again, a B average became UT's first Excel class, a scholarship program which continues on today.
Since we're working with students who are underrepresented in college, that could be a Black student, that could be Latinx student, that could be a low-income white student, but they all have one goal in mind. They understand the tradition of the program and where they're supposed to be in the world, and we set those high levels of expectation. You've got this mixed group of folks, but they have the same desire, and they become a part of that same Excel family and Excel tradition.
And this tradition offers different services to high school students to help them prepare and excel in college, such as Saturday school, summer institutes, tutoring, academic retreat weekends, campus visits, advising for strategic admissions and financial aid, and ethnographic field studies in the U.S. and abroad. They may travel within the U.S. or to countries such as Mexico, China, Ghana, or South Africa. It's a diverse program for a diverse set of students.
So some of them have economic challenges. Some of them have social challenges. Some of them have family issues. Some might come from outstanding family, but there are other challenges out there that can all be barriers to higher education. And so we have to recognize those and understand what those are. And then we've got this new dynamic of the pandemic. And so we're still learning about, exactly what that means for our students. Those 2 years of students that didn't go through their normal introduction to Toledo Excel, how are they going to adapt to that? How are they going to adjust to that? We did the best we could to give them a like experience or, experience that may be similar, but we're not sure what all those results are going to be yet. And so that's something that we'll have to look at very closely and make sure that they get the full experience of what the program is and what they learn from the program. So, there's so many different barriers and so many obstacles to higher education, so many factors that could impact a student. We just have to be very aware of what all those are.
Although there are new challenges for today's Toledo Excel students, David can look back on all the previous successes as a way to push forward into the future.
We have students who have literally come through an experience that, while they were in the program, they were homeless for a period of time and have come through that program. And the person I'm thinking of has 2 degrees now from the University of Toledo, a bachelor's degree and a master's degree. And I think about Anthony and Carla Patton, who both came through the Toledo Excel program, knew each other somewhat in the program, but later in life, Excel was one of those common factors that they were able to discuss when they started dating. And so they ended up getting married, they have a child, and they're both working on the faculty at the University of Toledo. Incredible stories like that, always come to mind.
And as David in the Toledo Excel program does plan for the future, it's again these success stories that remind him how important the work that he does and that the community does in supporting these students who oftentimes can fall through the cracks.
Yeah, that's the most rewarding part, seeing people, from Excel Group 1, 2, or 3. I was at an event just last week, and, when people find out I'm director of a Toledo Excel, in almost every case, someone in that room will come up and they'll say, wow, I was in Excel Group 3, I was in Excel Group 15. it helped me so much. It did great things for me. And I'm looking at a well-rounded, well-put-together professional person, and they're saying Toledo Excel was a huge part of that. So that's the most rewarding part. And then certainly those students that have come through the program after I became director, when I've seen someone or even interviewed someone when they're an 8th grader sitting there not really knowing exactly what's going on, and then seeing them as professionals. And so those things are happening more and more for me now. And so, that's extremely rewarding.
I'm Haley Taylor, and thanks for listening to this episode of the Rough Draft Diaries.